Hello, everyone, and thank you again for joining us today. My name is Sean Severson, Head of Sustainability Research and Climate Tech Research at Water Tower. Thank you again for participating in our ongoing Sustainability Fireside Chat series. Today, we have Dr. Sankar Das Gupta with us, who's the CEO and founder of Electrovaya. And we're going to be specifically discussing today, focusing more around the company's Infinity Battery platform. As a reminder, the stock trades on the OTC markets at EFLVF and the TSX at EFL. As a reminder, this is open content. You can access all of our research on Electrovaya at our website at www.watertowerresearch.com. And this presentation will also be available on demand. At the end of the presentation today, we're going to take some questions from the audience. And we'll be sure hopefully we'll be able to get to everybody's question. If not, we'll make sure that they get to the company or we respond to them as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sankar, and we can start today's presentation. And just as a reminder, the format today is going to be a slide deck, and we'll be running through the slide deck. And Sankar and I will be going through that. And then again, like I said, we'll have questions at the end. Your questions can be asked in the question box at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. So with that, Sankar, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you again for joining us today. And let's get started.
Thanks, Sean, and good morning. We are talking about Electrovaya and recent developments, which we believe is a very important lithium-ion battery breakthrough. And we are, and it's our Infinity platform, and we want to discuss its impact into the electric mobility side, the energy transformation side, and of course, ultimately, it's all greenhouse gas reduction and climate change mitigation. So I'm going to go to the next slide, which is the disclaimer. And really, Sean, we take it as being read, and it's always there. So battery is the enabling technology in this whole energy electrification side. Electrovaya has got some fundamental breakthroughs in this lithium-ion battery technology. So far, Sean, the market was not emerging. Now the market is emerging like a tsunami. So we are really glad. And people always ask me, how big is this battery market? And Sean, I've got no idea. Absolutely. I mean, I know it's big. And Bloomberg is quite happy to put out numbers. And what is interesting is Bloomberg uses the Electrovaya battery to illustrate its whatever it's trying to tell you. So if I go to the next slide, Sean, we will focus on just the Infinity platform, but Electrovaya has been developing two core battery technology platforms. And both are on a very recent technology breakthrough. The first breakthrough is the Infinity platform, which we call it the lithium-ion ceramic battery. And that Infinity platform has been strongly validated by our major partners. And so that has now been commercialized. And in this discussion, we will focus on that. We got our research team working on the solid-state batteries. And in the solid-state battery, so in the Infinity platform battery, it's got such a long cycle life. We believe it has got the lowest cost of ownership. If you're looking at it holistically, it is mainly being pushed into high, heavy-duty vehicles which are running 10 hours a day, 20 hours a day, sometimes 24 hours a day. We believe it's got the highest longevity of any batteries I have seen. And I'll talk about the safety side. We believe it's got one of the most incredible safeties in lithium-ion batteries. So that's where the focus today is, Sean. But solid-state batteries, why we are doing it is it has got, because of the very high energy density, it will be much, much smaller. So if somebody wants to purchase the lowest initial cost battery, solid state is wonderful there. And generally, the market for that is the automotive passenger cars. Passenger cars, they're always looking at the sticker price. Is it $20,000 or is it $23,000? What is the initial price of the car? And so we believe the solid-state batteries will be absolutely perfect for that. It's got very, very high energy density, and of course, it's on a R&D program. But today we will focus on the Infinity platform.
I think it's also important to note the commercialization, right? So there's a lot of battery companies, a lot of battery technology roadmaps and things like that. But the Infinity platform is commercial today, correct?
Correct. It is commercial today. And we have shown the world's most sophisticated automotive or transportation company in the world. He's the #1 in the world, and he is the largest industrial manufacturer in the world who has been testing our batteries, validating our batteries, and now has partnered with Electrovaya. So it is commercial today. And into a market which is just emerging. So if I go to the Infinity platform, which market are we focusing? And Sean, we just now cannot sell our batteries to everybody because that's not, we don't have enough capacity. So we are focusing on the market which is the most demanding and which will give us the highest gross margins, highest margins. So who is going to pay value? So the one in red, which is the SSB solid state, that's for electric cars, and that's not our focus today. Those folks have got huge needs, but they do not pay you very high margins. So where we looked at is said, hey, and when we used to work for Daimler, and Sean, we used to build a lot of the batteries for Mercedes. And Mercedes said, oh, my God, your batteries is way, way better than what our cars are. And so we are focusing on who will pay us the most. So if you look at the usage, the electric forklifts are our most important business. It's an addressable market of over, I think, few tens of billions of dollars. You don't see them, but they are working inside the warehouses when folks like Walmart and others moving things around. And they, in our opinion, pays the highest value. So we are focusing there. And in addition, I think the electric buses and trucks are coming up, and the autonomous robotics is coming up. So we believe the Infinity battery, with its very, very industry-leading safety and longevity, is absolutely perfectly organized for these applications.
And maybe, Shankar, just talk a little bit about why the cycle life and the charging time and things are important for an industrial user.
Yeah, and maybe I'll start with the safety side, Sean.
Sure, okay.
Anything which carries energy has the people are always worried about it, whether you carry a can of gasoline or a lithium-ion batteries. And lithium-ion batteries have had quite a few safety incidents. There was very recently, last year, 2 major OEMs launched their lithium-ion batteries using a battery from an Asian supplier. And within 1 year, they had to recall their batteries, and they're budgeting about $1.9 billion to recall. So the safety is is a very important thing. And now in an automotive passenger cars, you can jump out of the car and if it catches fire. But buses, you can't. Forklifts, which works inside a building, you don't want a fire inside a warehouse. So this is very, very important. And Sean, what we did, and this was part of our very strong validation with our OEM partner, which is Raymond Corporation, and I'll go to it on the validation side. They spent over a year validating the safety. They would not run with a battery which was unsafe. So that was the safety side. And even on the we've probably put around 20,000 Mercedes electric cars with our technology there. And Sean, so far, zero battery safety incident. And this 20,000 fleet of Mercedes must have done by now, I would say, 2, 3, 4 billion miles. And absolutely, I think this is unheard of, the level of safety which Electrovaya gives, which is why, people like Raymond is teaming up with us.
And to clarify, this is part of proprietary technology and the patents around your platform and your design.
Yes, very much so. So we have, and it's not one level. There's a multiple levels of safety which we do. One of the safety we do is we have a woven ceramic separator. It's a very, very patented technology. I think we have probably 15, 20 patents, maybe more, around this technology. And so on this separator. And again, this data you'll be able to see in our third party, in our OEM partners website. But if you look at the Electrovaya separators and versus, let's say, a ceramic coated separator from the best automotive company or the best battery company in Japan or wherever they are, Korea or China, and suppose there's some problem in the battery, some manufacturing fault or something happens, and there's a temperature excursion, and a slight temperature excursion, and you can see, and this is only 130 degrees centigrade, very small temperature excursion. You see, here is the Electrovaya separators, all staying firm and making sure your positive electrode is not touching the negative electrode, and here is our competition. And so that's the first level. And in addition, Sean, we have some interesting electrolytes inside. There are some other components inside where we build up this whole safety incident. And if I may take a minute on the safety side, is UL did a very interesting test which our OEM partner insisted on, and this test is not done by very many people. They said, okay, you have got a battery which has got, let's say, whatever number of tens or hundreds of cells inside the battery. Suppose one cell catches fire, and for whatever reason, will it propagate? Will the second cell, the third cell, they'll all propagate? And generally, UL has probably very, very difficult test to pass. And both our OEM partner and the UL looked at it and said, oh my God, it's very difficult to, get your cell to catch fire, and then it doesn't propagate. And that was a brilliant thing, which I don't think they ever saw before. So
now, one of the things about SSBs and solid-state batteries is the improved safety over lithium-ion, correct? So how does this fit in? It seems like you're solving
yes
quite a bit of
and
safety
no.
problems without going to SSB.
Yeah, yes and no, Sean, on the solid-state batteries. And that's another very large amount of technology, and maybe we can tackle it at a different rate. But a lot of solid-state batteries has got in the anode quite a bit of lithium metal in it. So what happens is, if there's a temperature excursion, lithium metal has got very low melting point, about 170 degrees centigrade. So suddenly that lithium metal becomes a liquid, a blob, and travels everywhere, and it's a horrendous mess. So solid-state batteries, I think the progress is good, but we got to watch it. We got to watch.
Understood. It's not the holy grail for safety.
No, it's not necessarily holy grail for safety. I just want to show you another. So in lithium-ion batteries, the safety is absolutely number one. You cannot have a unsafe situation in a bus. If you have it in a bus, it'll be like the Hindenburg. Nobody will ever get onto an electric bus. And you cannot have a fire inside a warehouse, etc. But the other thing, what our OEM wanted to know is the cycle life. What is the longevity of this Infinity platform? And this is the test, Sean, we didn't do it. It's their test. They did it. So this green is Electrovaya, and the blue, red, etc. There's really no North American battery maker, and there's no European battery maker. So what they did was the global battery makers are all in folks in Japan, in Korea, and China. So they tested it against all the global makers. And Raymond Corporation, by the way, who's our strategic partner, is the electric premium brand for that Toyota group. Just like they use Lexus in the passenger cars, Raymond is their brand in the premium brand in electric. And so they tested it, and you could see that ours keeps going, and after a year or two of testing, and the delta is very large. It's like it almost looks like our battery will last for 2-3. It's a 1,000,000-mile battery compared to others. So.
And when I look at that, I assume it's the direct total cost of ownership. This chart graph you're showing is how you get to an ROI, correct? I mean, that's superior to other batteries, certainly lead and other lithium-ion battery platforms, because the cycle life reduces the cost. And
absolutely. So the smart guys, the companies who are buying from us, people like Walmarts and Home Depots and Mars and all those people who are buying from us, they look at the holistic cost. They're sophisticated buyers. Just once, next slide, Sean. This is another income stream coming for us, and in the Infinity platform, we have in our battery management system, we have a data analytics set up, and we have now just started giving subscriptions to the users, so that it's called eVision, and it's a cloud-based subscription, and the users can now track battery usage. They can look at battery health, utilization, charging rates. They can see which vehicle is goofing off and not doing any work, and some other guys doing. So this is a nice software-based, cloud-based subscription model. Adds another line to our revenue side.
Hey, along those lines, Sankar, does that add any information about battery health or anything like that, or is it strictly a usage?
No, it gives us or the customer a complete data. It gives you about battery health. It gives you state of charge, state of discharge. It gives you battery utilization. In addition, it gives you how the vehicle is doing, etc. And our battery management system has got a wireless cellular capability, which goes into the internet and gives that data in a very nice form to the user.
And I also imagine that improves the safety, right? Because if you know a battery is going bad, you could have it or pull it early.
Very much so. He's got complete, and it sits in his front of him. It's like it's like a data dashboard for him, and he can watch where his 200 vehicles going, and we also give trigger points and all kinds of stuff on the software. So he's very happy. So we've started getting some major companies started using this analytics, and for us, it's a nice trailing revenue with a decent gross margin, because once you build it up, it pays for it. So the slide 10 was shown. This was we felt, hey, it was such a great battery, which the Mercedes was telling us, our data was showing us. We said, who is the biggest person in this massive business, which is and then we went after the Toyota group. And Raymond is their brand, just like Lexus. So the Raymond now is our strategic sales agreement. We've signed a strategic sales agreement, and Raymond is now pushing this battery quite dramatically. And I'll tell you the results of the sales push happening, and we are very pleased with it. but they're a sophisticated company. And Sean, it took almost 2 years of validation working with Raymond, and now we are all teamed up with them. So we've signed a sales agreement, and in that in their website, in the Raymond website, they do have, because people like Walmart and others wants to know what is the return on investment. That's their holistically, and depending, and they've got a calculator in there. So they found that depends, normal usage, you can probably get your return on investment in about 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. So it's a very fast return on investment. And it's so fast, Sean, it's almost the end of discussion on what technology should I use if I am forklift, electric forklifts users. And by the way, this market is quite massive. There's about 2.6 million of these big trucks wandering around in USA alone. Globally, it's probably 3-4 times bigger. And each of our batteries, average, we sell them at probably $15,000, maybe $20,000. Some batteries are $30,000, depending on the size of these trucks. So typical addressable market, even if you say is 1 million of these vehicles, and we are selling at an average of $15, $20, $25, $30,000 each. So you're looking at a $15, $20 billion addressable market. And this market is a sophisticated market. They can tell the difference between a good battery and a not so good battery. And Sean, I'm absolutely delighted that this sophisticated market is voting for Electrovaya with their purchase orders, and their largest OEM has now teamed up with us, which is the Raymond Group. So,
and I assume this applies also for the retrofit. I think it's important to differentiate. You got the new material handling market, and then you have the retrofit as well, replacing lead acid or older lithium ion. Correct?
Absolutely, Sean. So, for example, just as we have a sales both through our OEM. We've got 2 sales channels going. One is sales through our OEM channel, the Raymond channel. We also have a direct sales. And on the direct sales side, we said, who is the largest company in the world who uses these batteries, most sophisticated? And of course, it was Walmart. Walmart's the largest company in the world. And what they do is move things around, so we went to Walmart, and so that was a direct sales. Their first warehouse was all 100% retrofit. We moved all their technology, whatever they were using, and we put the Electrovaya technology in. They really liked it for about a year, and now we've done retrofitting for distribution center number 2. We've done number 3, and so on. So it's moving well, both in the new vehicle side as well as on the retrofit vehicle side. We just did all the Home Depots in New York City. I think there's 7 or 8. They're all retrofits. Although we are focused on the forklifts because it's such a massive market, there are some new emerging markets going to come up. These are things like electric buses, electric trucks, and so we've got our first system going. We've got some linkages. We are working with a number of OEMs, and we believe this market will start taking off probably 2023, 2024 onwards. So we'll see. But on the forklift side, which is Sean, gives us the highest margins. And we are now seeing good growth happening now that both our OEM channel is functioning well and our direct channel is functioning well. And there's a momentum growing. And people can understand their return on investment is maybe 4 months, 6 months, 10 months. And around September 2021, we had about 60 sites. Very recently, we counted it. We are now over 80 sites, and it's just now taking off. And all the large companies are coming in every category. All the massive e-commerce folks, the distribution center folks, the cold freezer storage guys. My kids are very happy about the cold freezer storage because Ben & Jerry's is now using it, Unilever. And that's quite an interesting application. That vehicle never leaves minus 20 degrees, never leaves the freezer. It gets charged at cold, it operates at cold. People drive it with, a lot of overcoats and things on it. And it's been running absolutely beautifully. So cold freezers. So the ice cream guys are very happy. And of course, now going into manufacturing, we've got stuff in Michelin and BMWs, etc. Food processing, all the large furniture companies, logistics, etc. So it's now taking off. And question is, how fast can we grow? So
and it seems to me that really most of this is developed. Let's go back 12 months and, start looking at the rollouts and the revenue associated with it, and obviously the number of sites. This is something that I would think snowballs a bit in the sense that, they run trials at a facility or two, correct? And they did at Home Depot. Then they know the numbers, they know the economics, they know the run data. And from there, it's hard for me to imagine what the hindrance would be for them rolling out, a very large scale across their distribution centers. And my question is around, from their mentality and mindset, do you think this is like the dam breaking and then it goes from a few facilities to like, let's roll out across, massive number of facilities, or they're going to still kind of take this one bit at a time? Maybe supply constraints are an issue as well, but what's the mentality of how they roll these things out longer term?
I think it's a very conservative business, and this business hasn't had new technology there. The business has been playing around with hydrogen fuel cells since 2007. So, but still they're all playing out. I'll tell you how it's rolling out. Just to give you an example. This particular group, which is the world's largest Fortune 1 company, and they said, give me 2 batteries. And they tested it for about 8 months. They ran it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then they said, oh, it looks pretty good. Here is one distribution center has got 100, 200 vehicles. Convert them all. Let's run it. And so we got a couple of $1 million. We converted all. And then they watched it for, I think, 18 months. And then they gave us distribution center number 2s and 3s. And now it's rolling across. Some groups are faster because now they can see the data from the Raymond data and the other data. So one major, he's again a $30-40 billion food industry, confectionery industry. They make everything. So there they said, hey, if Walmart's doing it, we are okay with you. So they gave us straight away, do distribution center number 1. And now any changes, I think they got 60, 70 distribution centers, any retrofit. So the moment the lead acid batteries are going offline after 2 years, 3 years of work, anything new, immediately Electrovaya is now picking it all up. So I can see it is snowballing. So we see a big growth happening this year, next year, and for the next couple of years. Okay, so I think that's being a very tech-heavy company. We got, I think, 5 of our board members have got a PhD in something or other, and we have a research. We are like a pharmaceutical company in that sense. Our research spending is a large amount. We've got over 10 doctorates in our research team, plus another 20 engineers, masters, etc., running the research team. So in conclusion, Sean, the Infinity Battery platform is a really very, I believe it's a very, very important technology breakthrough in the lithium-ion battery. It has catapulted us over any, our partner, OEM partner, he's the world's one of the largest companies. He could team up with anybody in Japan, Korea, China, anywhere. And he decided to team up with us. And we believe, and they believe, there's a very massive technology breakthrough happened in safety, in longevity, without compromising energy and power. And the research, and now we are breaking into this business. The return on investment is very fast for the user. Ultimately, we are growing very quickly, and that growth phase has started, Sean. Addressable market, several tens of billions, and of course, lots of patents. We seem to keep all the patent lawyers well employed.
Great. So thanks for that, Shankar. I know we're at half an hour here, and we ran a little bit over, but I want to get to a few of the questions. We have a number of questions, and I apologize in advance for those we're not able to get to, but did want to get some in here. The first one from the audience is, do you expect to be cash flow positive in fiscal year 2022?
Yes. We are asking for high margins, and some of our companies said we never ever pay this kind of margin to anybody. But we said we deserve it. Look at the safety longevity. So we think we'll be cash flow positive or EBITDA positive. Yes.
The next question is, please clarify how many of Raymond's 150,000 new machines are electric powered and can be outfitted with Electrovaya's batteries. So what's the market opportunity inside Raymond?
Yeah. So on the new vehicles, Raymond is 100% electric. So Raymond as a brand is their premium electric brand. If it is a diesel or something, then they use some other brands to sell it. So 100%. Our focus has been always to the larger units. We do not sell the small, what they call walkies, which are the small batteries. They're $300, $400, $500 each. That we don't sell. There's not enough margin there. Our value proposition is the larger batteries, and which are anything over $10,000 upwards. We are in it. Now, what Raymond does is they're selling the truck, and they are asking the OEM. The OEM, of course, can decide whether he wants to go with lead acid or hydrogen fuel cells or lithium, and Raymond sells our lithium. So they have an integrated system on the lithium, and they're pushing the lithium very, very hard. So let's see. I think I think the demand is now coming up very nicely.
Great. Thanks for that, Shankar. Next question is, are you aware of any other battery makers which has achieved UL status?
Yes, a lot of battery makers have UL status, but this fire propagation, this level of safety, again, in my knowledge, I've not seen anybody even near there. Some battery makers have done UL safety by compromising on their energy and power. They are now using some technology called lithium-ion phosphate, which has got probably half the energy or 60% of the energy of our NMC material, and they use that. But those batteries cannot give the power and energy which these folks need, or which needed.
Next question is, can you clarify on Walmart what their plans are? I think you mentioned a couple different things about them rolling out to multiple facilities, but where is that relationship? Where do you think they are going with this?
Relationship is good. We are now in 80 locations. So Walmart, a few years ago or 2 years ago, I would say was a very, very important customer to us, because they were, at that time we had probably 3 customers, Walmart being one. Now, of the 80 locations, probably the number of customers are probably 20, 30, 40. So very good relationship with Walmart, but we are building up very strong relationship with others as well, including, Sean, the e-commerce sites are moving very strongly. They're going gangbusters. So
And what question around that, one of those, a couple, is with a large e-commerce retailer, is that an active relationship today, right?
Oh, yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Selling, right?
Yeah, that's solid. I mean, I think they're going. We're very happy with them.
Good, and that you've already shipped product to them already.
Yes, we've done. Last year we did. I think 2 distribution centers for them. They watched it now for 6-8 months, and they've started like this quarter. But they're when they give you the purchase order, they want the product immediately. So they gave us a $6 million order, I think, in January, and they said, "Hey, you got to give it, the product in 8 weeks' time." So.
And I'm going to take one last question here. Apologize to all those we didn't get to. Again, we're running a little short on time. But last question is, it's a great question regarding capacity. And, obviously, if I expand on the question a little bit, lots of stuff going on the demand side and the customer side. What's the plan for filling that capacity? What could you do today? What do you need to do in the future, to make sure you can deliver on this?
Yeah, and Sean, we announced yesterday that we are taking, we have signed an agreement on a large facility in the U.S. So the expansion will be over there, and we see the demand. We think multiple plants has to be put in place. So the first plant is working nicely. The second plant is coming up in the U.S. somewhere. We've not announced where, but it's been signed up.
Great. Thank you for that. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Appreciate your questions, participation. Again, apologize for those who didn't get to. I'll turn it over to you, Sankar, for closing remarks, and we'll wrap it up today. And looking forward to having you back. Hopefully, we talk about the SSB side, because certainly, longer-term technology roadmaps, looking at that relative to today is interesting story in and of itself inside Electrovaya.
Yeah. The Infinity platform, Sean, is a complementary to the SSB platform. The Infinity platform gives you the level of longevity which SSB cannot give you. So Infinity platform is your million-mile product, and the SSB is more of a passenger car product. So they're separate from each other. We are absolutely delighted that all the major organizations in North America, all the Fortune 10s and the Fortune 100 and the 500s are all coming. And we are really, really pleased that with our OEM partner, he had a choice. He actually owns a lot of these folks in Japan and elsewhere, Korea, and that they came and teamed up with us. And now, Sean, the biggest thing is the market is now coming up. So we're delighted.
Right. So it's no longer coming in a couple of years. It's finally here. So my experience in covering clean tech for 15 years has been, next year turns into 5 years.
Yeah. Sean, I used to be on the White House committee with Al Gore was chairing on, and that was about 20 years ago. And we were all scratching our heads saying, when will it all come? And so we're delighted. It just took 20 years.
Just took 20 years, right? Exactly. So, again, thank you for joining us today, Sankar, and the audience. Thank you as well. Look forward to having you back. And please, if you're watching this on demand, please remember you can ask questions, and we'll get those to the company and ourselves. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you, Sankar, and everybody have a good day.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful